the Nile River at night, with shadows of pyramids in the background. A figure sneaks through a Roman camp, carrying a large rolled-up carpet. Lightning flashes, revealing a young woman stepping out of it. In a suspenseful, whispering voice. Picture this. It's a hot night in ancient Egypt. Around 48 BC, Julius Caesar, the powerful Roman general, is in Alexandria, trying to sort out a messy civil war. He's chasing his enemy, Pompey, but things are about to get way more complicated. Suddenly, a young queen who's been kicked out of her own palace sneaks into his room, hidden inside a carpet, or maybe a sack. She unrolls herself right in front of him. This is Cleopatra, the 21-year-old ruler fighting for her throne. Did she win him over with her stunning looks, or was it her smart thinking and bold plans? Today, we're uncovering the real story of Cleopatra VII, the last queen of Egypt. Was she just a beautiful temptress, or a super clever political genius? Get ready for a tale full of drama, power plays, and surprises that changed history. By the end, you might rethink everything you know about her. Music changes to something exciting and ancient-sounding. Show a map of the ancient world, zooming in on Egypt and Rome. Let's go back to the start. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC in Alexandria, which was like the New York City of the ancient world, super advanced, with huge libraries and bustling ports. She wasn't Egyptian by blood, though. Her family, the Ptolemies, were Greek Macedonians who took over Egypt after Alexander the Great conquered it in 332 BC. Her dad was Ptolemy XII, nicknamed Auletes, which means flute player. He wasn't a great king. He spent a lot of time borrowing money from Rome and dealing with rebellions. Growing up in this royal family was no fairy tale. The Ptolemies had a weird tradition of brothers and sisters marrying each other to keep the power in the family. And they were always plotting against each other. Murders, exiles, you know the drill. But Cleopatra was different from the start. She was super smart. Unlike her ancestors who just spoke Greek, she learned the Egyptian language. In fact, she could speak up to 9 languages, including Greek, Egyptian, Latin, Hebrew, and some African and Asian ones. She studied at the famous Library of Alexandria, learning about philosophy, math, astronomy, science, and how to speak persuasively. This wasn't just for fun, it was all about power. She presented herself as the living version of Isis, the Egyptian goddess of wisdom, magic, and motherhood. By doing that, she connected with the Egyptian people in a way no Ptolemy had before. Check out this ancient coin. It's one of the few real images we have of Cleopatra from her time. See that strong face with a big nose, firm chin, and sharp eyes. Historians like Plutarch, who wrote about her 100 years later, said her beauty wasn't the kind that knocks you out at first sight. It was her charm, her smooth voice, and her quick wit that really drew people in. The whole idea of her being this irresistible beauty queen. That's mostly from Roman enemies spreading rumors and later from movies like the one with Elizabeth Taylor. In reality, Cleopatra used her brain more than her looks to get ahead. Now, the drama really kicks in. When her dad died in 51 BC, Cleopatra was 18 and became co-ruler with her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII. Following family tradition, they got married. Yeah, it's weird to us, but it was normal for them to keep the bloodline pure. But Ptolemy's advisors, a group of sneaky guys including a eunuch named Pothinus and a general called Achillas, turned him against her. They wanted to control the Kid King. By 49 BC, Cleopatra had to run for her life out of Alexandria. She didn't give up, though. She went to Syria and started building her own army to fight back. That's when Julius Caesar shows up. He's in Egypt chasing Pompey, his rival in Rome's civil war. Ptolemy XIII's guys kill Pompey and give his head to Caesar as a gift, thinking it'll make him happy. Big mistake. Caesar was grossed out and decided to stay and fix the brother-sister fight, partly because Egypt owed Rome a ton of money. Cleopatra saw her chance. Legend says she snuck back into the palace wrapped in a carpet and presented herself to Caesar. Whether it's true or not, it worked like a charm. Caesar, who was 52 and experienced, was impressed by her bravery. and her ideas for teaming up Egypt and Rome.
Together, they fought Ptolemy XIII's forces in the Battle of the Nile. Ptolemy drowned in the river, some say accidentally, but it was convenient for Cleopatra. She got her throne back, now co-ruling with her even younger brother, Ptolemy XIV. But really, Caesar was her main ally. In 47 BC, she had a son with him, named Caesarion, or Ptolemy XV Caesar. This wasn't just a love story, it was smart politics. Cleopatra needed Rome's protection to keep Egypt independent, and Caesar needed Egypt's wealth and grain to feed his armies. In 46 BC, Cleopatra went to Rome with her son and brother husband. She lived in Caesar's fancy villa, and even got a golden statue of herself put up in a temple. She influenced Roman politics, but it made Caesar's enemies mad. They spread stories calling her a witch who was controlling him. Then, on the Ides of March in 44 BC, Caesar was stabbed to death by his own senators. Cleopatra grabbed her kid and fled back to Egypt. To solidify her power, historians think she had Ptolemy XIV poisoned. Harsh, but in that cutthroat world, it was about survival. Now she ruled alone, with little Caesarion as her co-regent. Cleopatra didn't just sit on the throne. She got to work fixing Egypt. She was a great administrator. During famines, she improved farming by building canals and irrigation systems. She stabilized the money by adjusting the currency, sometimes making it less pure to have more coins in circulation. She supported temples and priests to keep the religious side happy, and she boosted trade with other countries. Egypt stayed rich and strong, while Rome was in chaos after Caesar's death. Enter Mark Antony. After Caesar's death, Rome was run by three guys: Antony, Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, and Lepidus. In 41 BC, Antony called Cleopatra to Tarsus in modern-day Turkey to question her loyalty. Instead of showing up scared, she arrived in style, on a huge barge covered in gold, with silver oars, purple sails soaked in perfume. She dressed as Aphrodite, the goddess of love, with boys fanning her like little cupids, and girls acting as sea nymphs. Plutarch described it as a total spectacle. Antony, who loved parties and drama, was totally hooked. Again, this was politics dressed up as romance. Cleopatra needed a strong Roman ally, and Antony needed her money for his wars against Parthia. Their partnership was legendary. They had twins in 40 BC, Alexander Helios, meaning sun, and Cleopatra Selene, moon. Later, another son, Ptolemy Philadelphus. Antony gave her back lands that Egypt had lost, like Cyprus, parts of Syria, and Lebanon. In 34 BC, they had this big event called the Donations of Alexandria. Antony declared Caesarion as Caesar's real heir, and gave huge territories to their kids: Alexander as king of Armenia and Media, Selene as queen of Cyrenaica and Libya, and little Ptolemy as king of Syria and Cilicia. It was like redrawing the map of the East. But this pissed off Octavian big time. He was building his power in Rome and saw Antony as a rival. Octavian started a propaganda war, calling Cleopatra a foreign seductress who was turning Antony into her slave and betraying Rome. He read Antony's will in the Senate, which said he wanted to be buried in Alexandria, proof he was going Egyptian. The tension built up to war. The big showdown was in 31 BC at the Battle of Actium, off the coast of Greece. Antony and Cleopatra's fleet faced Octavian's. Things went wrong. Some say Cleopatra's ships left early, maybe as a planned retreat, but Antony followed, and their forces collapsed. Legends blame her for running away, but modern historians think it was more complicated, like bad strategy or betrayals. Back in Alexandria, things fell apart. Antony heard a false rumor that Cleopatra was dead and stabbed himself. He died in her arms. Super tragic. Cleopatra tried to negotiate with Octavian, offering to step down if her kids could rule. But Octavian wanted Egypt as a Roman province and planned to parade her in chains during his victory march in Rome. She wouldn't let that happen. On August 10th or 12th, 30 BC, at age 39, Cleopatra died. The famous story is she let an asp snake bite her, but that's probably from Shakespeare and paintings. Historians think it was poison, maybe from a hollow needle or a vial she hid. Octavian had Caesarion killed to eliminate any rival to his claim as Caesar's heir. But he spared Cleopatra's other kids and took them to Rome. Cleopatra Selene later married a king and became queen of Mauritania, So, was Cleopatra all about beauty or a political mastermind? The facts point to mastermind. She ruled for 21 years in a tough time, outsmarting her family, making deals with Rome's top guys, and keeping Egypt going strong. She reformed the economy, spoke to her people in their language, and used every tool, including her charm, to protect her country. Yeah, she was ruthless, like killing family members, but that was the game back then. Kings did worse and got called great.